Hi, I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and this is the new Elephant Hawk Moth pattern. Here's how to make it. Okay, this is the video showing how to assemble the Elephant Hawk Moth pattern if you're using a light box. It's also showing you how you can use the Elephant Hawk Moth pattern to make a butterfly. So, first of all, let me show you my light box setup. I've got quite a stack here. I have my light box at the bottom, turned as bright as it'll go. On top of that, I have a tempered glass cutting board. You do not need that. I use it because my sewing room is on the other side of my house from the closet where I record videos, and I don't want to carry my blocks there without having them fused. So I want to fuse right here on my light box, and this protects it from the heat. Then I've got my placement guide and a clear silicone sheet. I've also got all of my pieces cut out and ready to go. So that means I've got my template pieces on the paper side of paper-backed fusible adhesive fused to the back side of my fabric. And then I cut all those pieces out on the solid lines. You're going to see a bunch of dotted lines inside the pattern. You can ignore those. Those are placement guides for people who are not using a light box. But you have a light box, so you just need the pattern pieces cut out. So an elephant hawk moth is actually kind of a dull yellow and bright pink, and I wanted to make more of a butterfly version of it. They're kind of like a yellowish brown. So let's start with piece number 1. So the numbers tell you what piece is what, but they also tell you in what order you're going to lay them down. So we're starting with piece number 1. And, oh, wait, I have got the wrong, hang on a second. I forgot to mirror image some of my numbers to flip my numbers around, and then I just fixed it, and then I grabbed the wrong placement guide. Now it's fixed. So here's piece number 1, and we just lay it right down where it goes. The pieces are symmetrical. It doesn't matter which side is which, but you want your numbers to match up. I want it to be easy to do and not brain twisty. So then we've got piece number 2 is here. And now we've got 3 and 4 are the kind of bigger wedges of color right here. So let's start with piece number 3. That is lined up. And you can get so many fun patterns within your pieces. In addition to the patterns, the pieces that I'm actually appliquing on for designs, really have fun choosing your fabrics, because I'm getting an additional like secondary pattern by choosing this really bold stripe on these pieces, which makes it extra fun. And now 5 and 6 are some smaller stripes in the bottom here, in the bottom of the wings. One thing that a bold stripe like this does, though, is that you want to make sure that you make those stripes go the direction that you want them to. You need to pay attention to how you position your templates on the fabric. So I wanted these stripes to be going across the pieces, not going the long way on them. So just kind of be mindful of that as you're putting the pieces together, or as you're fusing your fabric. So 7 and 8 are the body and the head. So moths tend to have kind of chunkier bodies than butterflies do, but butterflies can also have chunky bodies. So this is not going to make it look too terribly moth-like. There's the top headpiece. What does make it moth-like is the antennas. So moths tend to have feathery antennas, or like a wiry antenna like this, but that's just a wire. Butterflies have little clubs on the end of their antenna. So if you want to get super, super technical when you do your antenna, if you want this to really be a butterfly, you can add some clubs on the end. I'm not going to worry about it too much, because this is just a pretend butterfly anyway. But what I'm going to do now is fuse all of these pieces together, and I don't need to fuse the whole surface of it. I'm just going to kind of plonk my iron down in the middle, and get all of these pieces tacked together. And I'm just doing a quick fuse there. It's not enough for a permanent hold, but it is enough to hold them together so I can move this block around without shifting anything. So I'm going to let them cool for just a second. And I'm going to peel them up. Oops. There we go. We have a butterfly moth-ish thing. And now I'm going to fuse it onto my block. So this has got a little fuzz on it. Let me just hit it with some masking tape before no reason to fuse lint between the layers. I do have some lighter colored fabrics here and that could show through. And now on the moth version where I'm making the moths in realistic colors, I am making them all very centered and formal looking. But for this butterfly version, I am going to kind of have them flittering around in the blocks. Now I'm going to do the proper fuse, so I'm going to fast forward through it because it's really boring. All right, now, and while I'm waiting for that to cool, I'm just going to draw on some antenna. They don't need to exactly match this. Again, this is just a made-up one, so I'm just going to... And it doesn't matter if they're perfect, because nothing in nature is perfect. So there we go. I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to do all of the outline stitching, and then I will bring it back here, and I'll show you this finished one, but I'm also going to show you an elephant hawk moth made in realistic colors, and I'm going to show you a moth butterfly thing that I made combining pieces from the elephant hawk moth pattern and the Luna moth pattern. All right, here is my finished elephant hawk moth made in fairly realistic colors, and I've got it on the muted kind of nighttime background that I'm using for all of my moth patterns. But I wanted to show you a couple of other versions that I made as well. So in this one, I set it at an angle so it's more fluttering through the scene. I'm doing two different settings with my quilt blocks. But this one I made in more butterfly kind of patterns. It's still not technically like if you're getting really nitpicky, a butterfly tends to have a more slender body than a moth, and it has clubs at the ends of its antenna. But so this is just very loosely making it into a butterfly instead of a moth. Mostly it just means that I made it in brighter colors. And I also put it on kind of a daytime sunshiny blue background. But I wanted to show you one more thing that I did with the pattern. So this is a combination of pieces from the Elephant Hawk Moth pattern. So you can see this is the head of the Elephant Hawk Moth, and I made it the entire body here. The stripe, one of these stripes here, I added here. And the other pieces are from the Luna Moth pattern. So what I've done with this pattern is the original pattern, the Elephant Hawk Moth, is a fairly realistic looking Elephant Hawk Moth. And you can make it in realistic colors. And then you can make the butterfly version of the colors. And then you can mix and match the pieces with other moth patterns. And I'm going to do a set of 10 different moth patterns, each that's a specific species of moth. And I'm also going to be doing 10 different butterfly patterns. And you'll be able to mix and match all of the parts from those moths and butterflies and combine them with each other. So all the wings and the bodies and the spots and the stripes will be able to be recombined into all different kinds of frankenmoths and frankenbutterflies. And this is just one example made with the first two moth patterns that I'm releasing. So this is the new, go back to this, Elephant Hawk Moth pattern from Shiny Happy World. I'm Wendy, and I will see you next time.